Okay, we are back live again, and hopefully, this time there will be no technical glitches and we are able to sort this out. So, yes, we are here today on a Sunday launch event with a very special guest. So, yes, hi Nupur, I can see your comments coming in. Hello, hello, hi Sonali, Hema, Sonam. I can see a lot of you joining in. Okay. Let's see. Okay, Aishwarya, I've sent you a request. Can you accept that and see if this is going live together? Hello, hi Manish. We have Type 1 Queen. I love that name. Okay, just give me a minute to sort this out. But okay, wait. Hi Anshuman and people who are just joining in. We are here today to launch our Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation charity calendars with a very special guest. And I'm just trying to figure it out how to get her live on.
Can you see me now? Hello.
Uh, hi, Aishwarya. I still cannot see you. I don't know. It's some issue with my this thing. But anyway, maybe I can try to go live on another phone. Not another phone. I'll just see the comments or see your video on another phone, maybe. Oh God, the things we
Nupur
have to do to resolve.
Nupur can see both of us though.
Yeah, I don't know. It's some issue with my phone or I don't know, my this thing. Uh, okay, not a problem. I have another phone and I can just keep it on mute. And
I'm choreographer. We are good. How are you doing?
okay, perfect. I have the other phone also. Like I've just kept it aside so that I can see you. Okay, perfect. So hi Aishwarya, how are you? Tell us a little bit about your Sunday. How's it going?
Good. A little lazy though,
Uh-huh.
which is also good because I had a crazy last night and I just thought कि आज संडे को संडे की तरह मनाते हैं. So yeah, a little lazy.
That's good. That's good. And thank you so much for joining us on a Sunday afternoon. I know you're pretty busy with your shooting schedules and all. So we are very grateful. And I know me and Nupur are very thankful for you to be doing this with us since the last couple of years. So heartfelt gratitude and lots of love from the whole of the Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation community.
Thank you. Thank you for making me feel that I belong. And I can't I think in every live session, I say this with a lot of emphasis that what you guys have done for me, I don't think in my diabetic journey, anybody else could have put in the kind of effort the way you guys did in getting me onto the right path. So thank you.
Thank you. I think it's like a mutual give and take, because for me also, like I've been very vocal about this thought that for me, that subtle mind shift change, like what to eat, what not to eat. If someone tells me, I wouldn't follow that, but if you're sitting together on a table, you're chit chatting with your other friends who live with the same condition, and it becomes very easy, And for me, the biggest change was to start or to put it better, it's like not to hate pricking my fingers for the blood sugar checks, because I absolutely hated that, like it was horrible. I never wanted to do it. But there was this one moment when I was in a meet, like this, and there were like all my friends who are living with type 1, type 2, and everyone was like checking their blood sugars together. And that kind of like just did that subtle shift for me, like it's okay, you're like not alone. There's this lot of people who are there who understand you and who support you.
Absolutely. And I think, this particular machine is everyone's savior, because I've realized with time that monitoring is one of the biggest key to
Yeah.
be on the right path when it comes to diabetes management. Without knowing what your levels are, you can really make some grave mistakes. So I'm so glad, and I say this time and again that अच्छा हुआ कि इस जमाने में मुझे डायबिटीज हुआ, क्योंकि I don't really know how earlier people would manage,
Yeah.
because now the kind of food options that we have, the kind of technology that is there when it comes to diabetic health management, I think we are blessed that we have that kind of technology supporting us. पहले तो I don't really know how our senior generation of diabetics would manage. So hats off to them.
True, true, true. And I've been living with type 1 since 23 years. For Aishwarya, it's been, I think, 6 years now, right?
Yes, yes, 6 years.
Yeah. So we will, I know Aishwarya, like every time we start any live or any session with you, you always like to share your diagnosis story with us. And why that's important is, like there are a lot of new people who are joining the community every day and listening other stories, that's kind of inspiring, and that's kind of let them know that it's okay, like you're not alone, and it's not easy to say, but it does get kind, and it does get a little better if you listen to other stories. So I would want you to share your diagnosis story with all the audience here today.
Before I do that, thank you, Michelle, for wishing me. Michelle is a very, very it's a very sweet relationship that we share, and she's wishing me because it was my birthday yesterday. So thank you, Michelle. Coming back to my diagnosis story, it started in 2018. And it started with me getting urinary tract infection every now and then. And because we would be shooting outdoors, I thought, possibly it's because of that I'm getting it, but it was very frequent. And when I went to my gynac, she uh, asked me to get a few tests done, which I did. And before the test results could come out, I was playing tennis. And I just picked up that sport, so I was very dedicated. I would put in all my energy and effort into learning the sport. And there was a major hand-eye coordination issue, which was very, very new to me because something like that had not happened. I couldn't really see the ball very well. It was all blurred. And I was like, maybe I'm tired. Maybe the sport is not for me. All sort of doubts came in. And then I was just sitting and chilling with my friend. And by then the reports came out. And my glucose levels in the urine were plus plus. And that kind of got me really thinking कि ऐसा कैसे हो सकता है ना मैं इतनी चीनी खाती हूँ, because for me sugar levels, चीनी just goes hand in hand, right? I didn't really know the science of food when it comes to your blood glucose levels. So it was plus plus, and I shared it with my friend, and we were sitting and having momos and all of that. She said, "How are you feeling?" I said, "I'm feeling absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong." And she said, "Okay, my father has this machine at home. You want to test it?" I said, "Isme likha to aa raha hai plus plus. Now I'm going to control my sugar levels and I'll be fine." So, and momo khate hue मैं बोल रही हूँ, and without realizing कि मैदा में कितना sugar होता है.
Yeah.
And she said, "Just fun. Let's just do it. Let's just see what your levels are right now." And we went into her father's room, and he was sitting and having khatta meetha namkeen. And I remember this, and I'll tell you why this is important. So she asked her father, "Okay, iska check kar do." So when he checked, my levels were 421. And he said, "नहीं नहीं, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता." Because he also understood, that I've always followed a very disciplined lifestyle. I've been working out, I'd been eating right, all of that, except those momos. So he said, "नहीं नहीं, machine में कुछ खराबी है. I'm going to check it for myself." And he did that. And his levels were around 100 to 110, कुछ बीच में. And this is while he's eating खट्टा मीठा नमकीन. So he said, "बेटा, machine ठीक है, तुम्हारे levels गड़बड़ हैं." So rushed to an emergency right now. And this was late at night, around 9:30. And I said, really? So he made my friend take me to a hospital, and immediately I was admitted. And I was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes.
Mhm.
And it just didn't really make any sense because now when I think back, the first question that I was asked was कि आपकी family में किसी को diabetes है? And no, that's not true. None of my family members have diabetes. So like आपको type 2 diabetes है. And my like the earth beneath my feet kind of shifted. I was like, what the hell? How can that happen to me? Because diabetes तो बूढ़े लोगों को होता है, right? That's the
Yeah.
understanding that we have of diabetes. And then slowly and steadily, when I went to the right doctors, so from 2, it went to 1.5. From 1.5, it went to 1. And
Yeah.
that's the time when I understood that, okay, this is what's happened to my body. And nobody had a real answer as to why it has happened. And that really got me very disturbed. And I'm not using this word very loosely. I was very disturbed. And in my head, I was like, अभी मैं इसको ना ठीक करके दिखाऊंगी, देखना, I'll be the first person, because I started reading up on type 1 diabetes and all of that. I was like, I'll be the first person to cure it. And that didn't happen. What really happened was that I got onto the path of managing it and managing it well. So every now and then I cheat. Like yesterday, it was my birthday, so last night I did cheat. I did have a slice of pizza. But earlier, when I would have those momos and have that slice of pizza, the guilt would be, कि यार, it's not very cool. I'm an actress. I'm not supposed to be eating junk. But now, it's not external. It's internal. That, dude, don't do this to your body. Eat right. And then slowly and steadily, I got onto the path of managing it well. And Blue Circle Diabetes played a major, major role in doing that for me.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing this because uh, like you said, your journey has been with a incorrect diagnosis of type 2, then 1.5, then 2, and usually that's what we see with people who are diagnosed with type 1 and in the later stage of life, like if it happens to young kids, it's usually okay, this is type 1, this is fixed, but it becomes very difficult to get a proper diagnosis at a later stage, even when you're like in the teenage years or in the adult years, and then I know that can also be very frustrating. We have listened to a lot of stories of our community people who have been kind of misdiagnosed and then were diagnosed properly that it is type 1 and not type 2 or type 1.5, right?
Absolutely. And that's why having a community or belonging to a community is very important because, first of all, when something like this happens to you, you feel very isolated. कि मेरे साथ क्यों हुआ? And you go through all the stages of loss. And you don't really realize that it's not just you. There are millions of people suffering from the same issue. And a doctor in our country, they are overworked, okay? They don't have the time to sit with you for 2 hours and understand what you are going through emotionally. They will give you the medicines or they'll prescribe you the medication which is required for your body, but you will not really understand why that medication is being given to me. And that's where a community's role comes in, where you understand, okay, you don't have to make all the mistakes yourselves. You
Yeah.
can just learn from other people's mistakes and then follow the right path. And that's what happened with me. It took me around a year to find the right doctor who could guide me right, who could make me understand that, possibly because of this, your pancreas were affected, it got converted into an autoimmune issue, and now you're a type 1. But earlier, when it was a type 2 diagnosis, I didn't really understand as to why that happened because Google would say, oh, it's a lifestyle issue. And I'm like, dude, मेरी lifestyle बिल्कुल सही है. So what issue are we talking about here? So that's why finding the right doctor who can give you the right diagnosis is very, very important because only then you'll be able to uh, have the right medication prescribed to you. And for me, initially, insulin was my biggest enemy. I was like, what are you saying? Insulin on my stomach every day. I'll stop eating carbs. I'll stop eating sugar. I'll do all of that. But I realized that insulin is actually my best friend. So it was a journey.
Yeah, yeah. So Rishi is asking, are you type 2 or and not type 1.5? No, Aishwarya is type 1. She was misdiagnosed as type 2, then type 1.5, and now finally she knows that she's type 1.
I think also, Snehal, my journey was from 1.5 to 1. So maybe
Okay. Mm.
diagnosis of 1.5 was okay at that point of time because I remember um, barely taking any insulin at that point of time. So
Yeah,
my body did transition from 1.5 to 1, where from just possibly 4 units of long acting was enough. And then that
yeah,
honeymoon phase got over, and then I realized, okay, there is a requirement of insulin which has to be increased by the doctor because obviously now it's no longer or insulin is no longer being produced in my body. Maybe at 1.5 when I was diagnosed, maybe still thoda bahut aa raha tha insulin, but then
right.
honeymoon phase did get over, and I had to make peace with it and become best friends with my insulin.
True, true. And what are you, and a lot of people are also curious on what are you using as your insulin delivery tool? Are you on syringes, pens, or the pump?
I uh, I did a lot of research initially, and I was very. I was. I wanted to go onto a pump. Okay, but I also realized that if I go onto a pump, maybe the mindfulness that needs to be there when it comes to my food, that might be missed. So I started with flexi pens, and although I realized that it's really bad for the environment because the amount of plastic that goes into making a flexi pen is quite a bit, that has worked for me. So I use Nova Rapid Flexi Pen thrice a day before every meal, and I use a long-acting bolus, which is your basal, not bolus, which is your Solostar Lactis. So
Okay.
that's my night dose, and no rapid is my day dose.
Yeah. A lot of questions on like which insulin you are on. They are also coming in. So thank you for answering that as well. Yeah. And to everyone who's asking for what insulin Aishwarya is using, that's something that her body is, that's her up to her body requirement and what her doctor has suggested. Never ever follow what someone else is taking or the number of units someone else is taking, So that is just a general precaution that everyone has to take. Just don't go on your own and make some changes in the insulin or your dosage. Always connect with your doctor to uh, get
Absolutely.
your requirements. Yeah.
Absolutely, because I create a lot of diabetes awareness reels on my Instagram, and a lot of people end up asking me questions there. But in every reel, I do mention that I'm not a doctor. These are my experiences when it comes to being a diabetic. So don't just follow all this blindly. Go refer to an endocrinologist that you feel has been able to help you with your diabetes up till now. There is a reason why they have studied so much in this particular profession or in this particular field. So please unke paas jao. Don't just believe what I have to say. Why? Because every body is different. For me, maybe 10 units of lactis is enough. But
Yeah.
maybe for you, या तो 5 होंगे या फिर 50 भी हो सकता है. You don't know. So have somebody who can guide you right. And the unfortunate part is that there is so much misinformation regarding health and wellness on social media. So it becomes very important to refer to a doctor that you feel कि आपको सही guide करेंगे.
True. Someone is asking what was your fasting level today. If
I'm
you
not
want to share it
answering
with.
that. I'm not answering that because trust me when I say this, last night I did cheat and I did cheat quite a bit, कि birthday hai and all of that. So I'm not sharing that. But having said that, uh, your fasting levels are very important. It gives you an idea as to how your body is functioning. Because in those 8 hours or 6 hours of sleep, when you're not taking insulin and your body is in a resting phase, how your body is reacting when it comes to converting glucose into putting glucose into your cells, it becomes like a marker of your diabetic health. And if you
True.
mess around with it, which I did last night, uh, it can go a little awry, but it also gives you an indication कि ठीक है आज का दिन मुझे कैसे निकालना है. So I'm not
Yeah.
sharing my
Yeah.
fasting level, but normally my fasting level when I'm behaving myself, which is around 5 to 6 days in a week, my fasting levels are between 100 to 110.
That's awesome, and I think having a good morning blood sugar is very important because that sets the tone for the rest of the day, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. 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 And from the whole of the Blue Circle community, I would like to wish you a belated happy birthday. And we both are like Capricorn
Yes.
girls, so I know that hits a little different,
Yes.
Capricorn traits are like usually there, and like, yeah, and we have talked a lot about that as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. There's a very interesting question. How do you manage alcohol with insulin?
Yeah.
So this was
Yeah.
also a lot of hit and trial for me. I am a social drinker. And what I've realized is what really works for me is whiskey. And
Yeah.
these days, like yesterday, I tried tequila and it didn't work for me. Although it's a very low carb drink,
Yeah.
but it didn't work for me. Whiskey is my safest. But having said that, alcohol can be avoided completely because it puts a lot of pressure on your liver. So if you are actually not disciplined throughout the week, don't even touch alcohol. But if you feel that, okay, maybe you deserve it, you want to unwind, there are various ways to unwind. So I'm not promoting alcohol here at all. But I'm not going to lie, I am a social drinker. And every time I want to approach my poison, it's usually whiskey.
Yeah. Yeah. And we have a very detailed video on how to manage alcohol with diabetes on our YouTube channel as well. So if any of you want to go through that, we have talked about all the alcohols which are available and what to eat, what not to eat, and how to manage. But Aishwarya is absolutely right. Whiskey is like zero carbs. So you also have to like accompany that with good amount of protein so that you are just like not sloshed.
Otherwise, you go
Because
into
just
a hypo.
alcohol.
You can go into a hypo because there is science as to what liver does when you're consuming alcohol, and you can touch a hypo. So
Yeah.
पहली बात तो avoid कर लो. अगर दारू नहीं पियोगे तो कुछ मतलब as such you're not losing out in life.
Yeah.
But if you are a social drinker like me, then whiskey is like a safe drink.
True, true, true. And always accompany that with food and enough water. Stay hydrated so that you don't feel any hypo symptoms or you don't feel like have a hangover afterwards, right?
Correct. Correct, absolutely. Because in any case, अगर आपको hypo हो रहा है और उसके साथ आप hangover हो तो फिर तो आपकी लग गई. So
True. You can
avoid it.
never make out.
And
You can never
I never
understand the
believe it.
symptoms of having an hypo and being drunk are like kind of similar.
Yes, yes. In fact, I mean, अब बोल देती हूँ. I always tell my husband, so if I go into a hypo, I'll just show him कि देखो मेरी sugar इतनी है. Then he ends up doing all the work. So now it's become a joke कि यार अगर diabetes हो तो उसका कुछ तो फायदा होना चाहिए ना मुझे. So I make him do all the work every time I hit a hypo, which he willingly does. But now sometimes he also doesn't believe me कि तुझे hypo है भी या तू सिर्फ मुझसे काम करा रही है. So yeah.
How cute. And I really love the reels that you share with Rohit as well, and all the fun and all the diabetes information that you've been sharing through your reels. That's been phenomenal. And I'm sure the reach has been like very widespread as well.
Yes, it has taken me a while to get that kind of reach when it comes to my niche diabetic community. But after 3.5 years of posting regularly, posting about my experiences, it has kind of proved beneficial.
True, true. And thank you so much for doing that because we need a lot more people to talk about diabetes openly. Like it's not easy. It has its ups and downs, the literal ups and downs as well. So it's more important that people start talking about their experiences so that others who are listening, they can gain some knowledge out of it, right?
Absolutely. सारी गलतियां खुद मत करके सीखो. दूसरों की गलतियों से भी तुम सीख सकते हो. And that's what I did.
True, true, true. And I think moving on, like, we can chit chat about our daily lives through the whole day, you know, like that.
That's a nice
But
question, Snehal. I think I would want you to answer it. Shall we take insulin dosages after alcohol?
so, you know, like for me personally, what works is like if I know that I'm going to be partying out with my friends or something, I'm going to drink alcohol, I let my sugars be a little on the higher side, you know, like 180 to 200, because that's like just to avoid in case I have an hypo. But I'm also very aware, you know, like because we're already talking about alcohol, I do not use the mixers, you know. I do not have mocktails or cocktails because they have those sugary syrups which are added to it, so your sugars are going to spike through, like it's immediately going to reach 300, 400, you know, like
Absolutely.
um, yeah. And like you said, you know, like whiskey is a good choice, any sort of zero carbs whiskeys. Even for me, like white wine works really well. Red
It
wine
does.
increases my blood sugars. Uh,
Spike's crazy for me. Like I've not had
yeah, yeah. So
wine in a very, very long time because the last experience that I had, I was in Goa and I had a glass of wine and immediately like rocket.
yeah, yeah. So you have to kind of understand, you know, what works, what doesn't work. But but if I want you to take away two tips from this discussion, one would be to kind of always eat something, you know, and better the proteins, not carbs like pizza or pasta.
Yeah.
You can have like this nice chicken starters or like stir fried veggies. You get a lot of delicious starters with your alcohol and stay hydrated. And do not kind of rage bolus in between, you know, like, you know, if you're going to eat like whatever one plate of chicken kebab or something like that, just bolus for that. Don't take extra insulin, just to like keep yourself safe from having an hypo.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because if your sugar crashes while you're drinking, it's going to be troublesome for people around you to handle you.
Yeah, yeah. And I know there have been a lot of questions on like alcohol and stuff, and Nupur is, I see her answering a few of them, you know, like, but we will move on to why we are here today. And we are here to launch the Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation 2025 charity calendars, you know. So I'm going to show you what it looks like.
I have it here with me as well.
So this is how it looks like. And for the month of February, we have the very pretty, very beautiful
Thank
Aishwarya.
you.
Yay!
You know, this
And
has
this is,
become like such an annual norm where
yeah,
Nupur is always very kind enough to say, if you have the time and if you're willing, would you be willing to be part of the calendar? And I'm like, dude, पूछने की भी जरूरत नहीं है. Now this is like, this is home. So yes, I'm very proud of the fact that the amount of work that Nupur and Snehal, all of you, Rohan, all you guys, the amount of work that you're putting in when it comes to raising awareness and small things like this, which takes a lot of effort. मैं ऐसे small thing loosely बोल रही हूँ, but even creating a calendar which talks about diabetes the way it does, it takes a lot of effort and ज़रूरत है. Even now, I was discussing this with you, Snehal, the work that you're putting in by going into smaller schools to the without at the cost of sounding a classist. I'm not, but the areas where they are not as privileged as we are, and they have no idea about what's happening to their bodies if they are diabetic. The kind of awareness that is being created by Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation, hats off. Very,
thank
very,
you.
very inspiring.
Thank you. Thanks, Aishwarya. And thank you so much for being associated with us and supporting all our causes. And like you said, you know, like me and Nupur, I know that you are always there, you know, like every time we ask you that, oh, like we want to do like a session with you or some talk with you, and you're like, you're always there, you always find time for us. And that shows you how much you care for the community and the kind of awareness you also want to create. So thank you. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a two-way road.
Yeah. We also have some fun merchandise on the Blue Circle store. If you go and check out, we have some fun stickers here. You know, you can use them to stick on your insulin pens, your sensors. You know, like especially this one. this is for your bolus, this is for your basal, the long acting one. And then we have this one, which is the short acting one, very cute squirrel here. And then we have some fridge magnets, some pop sockets, hats, bags, a lot of merchandise on the store. So if you want, you can go and purchase them. And all the proceeds from whatever you buy, they usually go to support medical supplies and insulin for people we are sponsoring, we are funding through the Project Isha program that we run here at the Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation. So do support us.
And it's also, I think, all these stickers where you have long acting, short acting, it can be very beneficial for your family.
Yes.
कभी कभार हो जाता है, where you, like it happened with me recently, where I forgot my insulin at home. So let's say if you have a child at home, okay, and there is no adult who understands कि तुम क्या कौन सा dose चाहिए, क्या चाहिए, and the child has to get it for you. So then it becomes easier for the child to understand, okay, this is long acting because of the giraffe thing, and this is short acting. Otherwise, it's always like कौन से color वाला injection चाहिए तुम्हें. And if you are not in a halat, like let's say if you have a bad hypo, and if you or you have a crazy hyper which makes you not very functional at that point of time, then somebody from your family can help you without actually being confused.
Yes, absolutely. I think that was one of the thought that went behind like designing the stickers as well, like how to make it easy, not just for yourself, but for your family members as well, or your caregivers as well.
Yeah, absolutely. क्योंकि although diabetes आपकी body में है, it's a disorder that you are dealing with, but without the support of your family, it can get very, very tricky and very difficult. So it's important that you educate your family about it, apart from just educating yourself. Very important. अगर उनको नहीं भी सुनना है ना, फिर भी डायबिटीज वाले वीडियोस लगा के चला लो. ब्लू सर्कल डायबिटीज फाउंडेशन के पास बहुत सारे ऐसे वीडियोस हैं. जस्ट प्ले देम इन द बैकग्राउंड, लेट देम हियर, वो सीख जाएंगे ऐसे. I made sure when I got diagnosed, I made sure I talk about diabetes with every close person so that tomorrow if I need them, they should know what has to be done.
True. Yeah. And I know, Aishwarya, like you have been, the last time we met, you said you were studying to become a therapist. And a lot of people also ask us this question on how to ensure that we are accepting this condition and how to be okay with it. So I would love for you to share your thoughts on that.
You don't get into therapy when you're the most happy or when you're having a gala time in your life. Therapy only comes to you when you're really down and under. And that's exactly what happened with me, because when I was diagnosed, it was like a major, major denial for me कि ऐसा मेरे साथ कैसे हो सकता है. And then I've always encouraged people around me to also go in for therapy, because I feel it's like a mind workout. How you have a physical workout, you hit the gym, you go for a run. Going in for therapy is like a mental workout. It's a mind workout, which is also important. वो बस हमें अंदर दिखता नहीं है, हमें माइंड ऑरा वाइब सब दिखता नहीं है, तो हम उसको टेकन फॉर ग्रांटेड लेते हैं. बट therapy per se proved very, very beneficial for me. And when I was really, really down and under, I realized the importance of it. And I realized that I have an aptitude for it. So it's been 2.5 years of me studying now. I'm a certified therapist. And I don't think it's a coincidence. Nothing is a coincidence in life. But I also feel that most of my clients who come to me, out of 10, 8 would have diabetes. It's so beautiful that those people are approaching me for the same issue that I had to deal with at one point of time. So apart from just being a therapist and helping them figure out, in terms of what your childhood traumas are, what happened to your body, etc., 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 because of the knowledge that now I have about diabetes, I can also share my experience. So it just makes them more comfortable. But yes, now I am like a proper inner child regression therapist, and it's opened a whole lot of doors for me. Earlier, I would think that जिस industry में मैं हूँ बस वही मेरी life है, but now I realize that I was being a कुएं का मेंढक. So because of diabetes, therapy happened. Because of therapy, becoming a therapist happened, and it's just been a beautiful, beautiful transformation for me.
Yeah, Thank you for sharing that. There's one question, and which is, I think, a lot of us go through when we are diagnosed, is just why me only? Like, why is it happening to me? How do you traverse around that thought?
Well, all I can say is that we love being victimized, okay? We love to self-victimize. Once you're done doing that, then you get into acceptance. कि अब ये हो गया है. Every one of us, we go through 5 stages of loss, okay? And denial being the first one, okay? Eventually, when you reach acceptance, you have gone through anger, you have gone through your so-called depression, you have done all of that. Now you know that the next step is acceptance. अगर आपने ये कंडीशन एक्सेप्ट नहीं की तो आपकी बैंड बच जाएगी. तो बैंड बजाने से अच्छा एक्सेप्ट कर लो. I was also in the same place कि मेरे साथ ही ऐसा क्यों हुआ. I went on a hunt amongst my family members. किसको डायबिटीज है, किसकी वजह से मुझे हुआ, किसका डीएनए, you get into that. But once I accepted that, okay, this is something that's going to stay with me at least till the time they find a cure, I have to live with it. It's like चलते चलते अगर आपको पैर पे लग जाती है, आपका फ्रैक्चर हो जाता है, आप पैर अलग तो नहीं करवा, आप एम्पुटेट तो नहीं करवा लेते ना. आप कास्ट लगाते हो, मेडिसिन खाते हो, फिजियोथेरेपी कराते हो, और वो ठीक होता है. कुछ लोगों का ठीक होता है. Some people still walk with a limp, right? Why does all this happen? Because you have accepted कि okay, this has happened to me. So here the key is acceptance, that this is something that has happened to me and I'm going to make the most of it. I don't think in terms of my physical body I've been in a better shape. It's only because of diabetes that because something like this happened to me and now I have a way to monitor what's happening with my blood glucose levels, I make sure that I eat right. I make sure that vegetables and fruits become my best friends. Earlier, that was just taken for granted कि हाँ खा लिया तो खा लिया, but now it's become an essential thing. And the kind of knowledge that comes to you when something like this happens to me, it makes you just more enriched.
Yeah, true. And also for me, acceptance had been very, very difficult. I think it took me a lot of years, I was doing everything right, I was just following the thought I had, कि जैसे हर सुबह उठ के ब्रश करते हैं वैसे ही दिन में 3 बार इंसुलिन लेना है, 4 बार टेस्ट करना है. But I had never accepted it, so I didn't talk about it. I was restricting myself from doing certain things that I would have loved to do, but just only after acceptance, like you rightly said, that only after acceptance, I think you can empower yourself to think beyond the condition, to start doing newer things, to start experiencing life the way it should,
Absolutely. And there is no other way. There is no other way. तो मान लो कि हो गया अभी तुम्हारे साथ, अभी उसका क्या करना है उस पे फोकस करो. There's a question here, how frequently we should check our current blood sugar level. Oh my God, this is like the key for diabetes management.
Yeah.
As often as you can. But ideally, if you don't have a sensor on you and you're relying on your blood sugar reading monitors, then ideally, मैं तो बोलूँगी 6 से 7 बार, but that also seems a lot for people. But if you want to keep your blood sugars in check, 6 to 7 times for me at least.
Absolutely. I think that is also something we recommend. And even when I was not on sensor, I used to check 8 to 10 times a day, and it didn't happen on day one. Like it was a journey. It took me around 10 years to kind of start being this regular, to check 7 to 8 times a day. Before that, I never checked. When I was diagnosed initially, I was going through my teenage years, and how it is that why me, and I'm not going to follow anything. Then the transition started. I started checking maybe twice a day, maybe 4 times a day, and then when I reached out to a community, and when I started meeting a lot of other people, that's how I met Nupur as well, and we learned from each other's experiences, and then I felt okay, that it's okay, to check your blood sugar 7 to 8 times a day, to keep your health in check. I think that's something that I can do.
Yeah. We have to, and it's kind of unfortunate that kids who who have been diagnosed as type 1 diabetics, they have to grow up very soon because all of a sudden now you have to take command of your health. And as a child, I mean, that's your last concern, right? That's something that all kids take for granted because mummy papa hain dhyan rakhne ke liye. So, for all the juvenile diabetics, it is a task.
Yeah.
So the responsibility, of course, lies on the parents, but they also have to grow up very soon because not at every minute or every hour are you under the wings of your parents. You do go to school, you do go for your whatever activities that kids have these days. तो वो उन्हें करना पड़ता है. So yes, but I would also say like because I also have been on a sensor for a very long time, and but I still go back to my device
Yeah.
because sometimes these sensors can give you wrong readings. Because today when I woke up and I was expecting कि कुछ तो धमाल होने वाला है, and I saw my blood sugar levels and they were 93 on my sensor. And I was like, ये हो ही नहीं सकता. And then I went to my device and I checked and that wasn't true. So my sensor was not giving me the correct readings. So
Yeah.
because it is
It
attached to your
can.
body, sometimes the needle can go haywire, some things can happen. So the perfect way to get your correct reading for your blood glucose will always be a blood glucose monitoring device.
Yeah. Yeah. So the glucometer, you should always carry it with you, even if you're on the sensor, because like Aishwarya rightly said, the sensors can sometimes give you false lows, false highs as well, you know. So
Correct.
especially if you're feeling low, I would recommend to trust your body's symptoms, the low symptoms that you usually get. But if you're feeling high, then before taking insulin, always cross check on a glucometer because
Always,
sometimes it can be easy. Yeah. Yeah.
always, always.
True. Aishwarya, is there any trick or tip you want to share with our audience here, like that has helped you to manage your diabetes in a better way?
Fiber has become my best friend. So before any meal, uh, even if I'm cheating, I will try and have a lot of fiber, which is basically your vegetables. And when that happens, when you end up having fiber, it lines your large intestine and your gut area in a manner that next thing that, like, let's say if you have carbs, which are high, then the release of the glucose is going to be a little slower. Why? Because the
Mhm.
fiber is now covering your large intestine. So it becomes like a barrier. So then you will
Mhm.
not get that crazy spike. धीरे 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 it's going to go up, and that gives you time to check कि okay क्या हुआ and now what can I do about it. So for me, making fiber my best friend has been the key for my food management when it comes to diabetes.
Yeah, that's an important tip, a great tip, because most of, I think, our blood sugar fluctuations happen because of the food we consume, you know, and because nowadays everything is available so easily, and there's temptations all the time, you know, like let me just maybe eat one biscuit, you know, or like just one small bite of a chocolate. It becomes very easy to kind of have a lot of carbs, more than you're required to have, and most of us do have a sedentary lifestyle, you know, like even our works are mostly desk jobs, so we
Yeah,
hardly ever like time to go out and exercise regularly, which by default should be the habit that we have, you know.
yeah,
But the great tip is like if you're eating out also, like I said, you try to focus more on the starters because they are usually like more protein based rather than going for a main course which is like pasta, pizza, burgers, or even like uh, the tandoori roti or anything that you have outside, which will, or even though they say like it is 100% atta, I never trust the rotis or chapatis you get outside. I never eat chapatis, rotis outside, you know, because uh, even though they say atta hai, kuch nahi hai isme, I am 100% sure there's some amount of maida which goes in it, right?
yeah, absolutely. So why take that risk?
Yeah, yeah. Uh, and if you have anything which has maida in it, you know, the refined flour, it's going to affect your blood sugars for the next 6 to 8 hours at least, you know, because it's like a very slow release, and then you will have to constantly monitor, you know. So I don't want to go through the hassle of everything. So I just try to avoid any main course dishes which have the chance of having maida in it, right?
Correct. Correct. Absolutely.
And then
Absolutely.
lot of wonderful dishes that Aishwarya also shows on her stories, and I always love to like check out her especially the weekend stories that you put on your recipes and everything, and it makes it sound so easy, and like with ingredients that you can get easily nowadays, right?
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying कि we are blessed कि अभी इस जमाने में diabetes हुआ because there are so many options that are available now. And they come to your doorstep. You don't even have to step out. All that you have to do is read the nutrition label before ordering. See kitna carbs hai, see kitna sugar hai. So life has been made quite easy for us diabetics.
Yes. Yes. And like always, we have a fun rapid fire round for you. So are you ready for that?
Yeah, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. I know this question is always hits you a little different, but cats or dogs?
Both.
Both, yeah. Are you a beach person or a mountain person?
Mountain person.
What's your favorite carb?
What's my favorite carb? Parathas.
Yummy. What's your favorite cartoon character?
As a child, I really used to enjoy watching Scooby-Doo and read Archie comics.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo. I mean, I don't know that they still play it in some channels or not. It's been very difficult to kind
No
of get
idea.
a hold of our old, like the OG cartoon series which used to love and watch.
No
Yeah.
idea.
Okay. What was the last song you were listening to?
Last song that I was listening to. Um, I think कल से तो हैप्पी बर्थडे ही चल रहा था तो हैप्पी बर्थडे टू यू
One superpower you wish you had?
करेक्ट माय pancreas.
What is your favorite hobby?
Type 1 diabetes. I would love to do that.
Yeah, yeah. What's your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby these days is reading.
Yeah. What's your favorite season?
Favorite
Season.
season? Winters.
Yeah. So winter baby. December, January people are like always like loving
Yeah,
winters.
yeah. Any day. वो smog वाली
Polka
winter भी
dots.
चलेगी.
Go ahead, go ahead.
मैं क्या smog वाली winter भी चलेगी मुझे.
True, true. And Mumbai don't have winters, unfortunately. It's never even like a jacket season.
तो
So
फिर भी sweater
yeah,
पहन के बैठी हूँ just to keep myself happy.
true, true. Okay. Next is polka dots or stripes.
Nah, I'm more into solids. But if I have
Yeah.
to choose,
Blue,
then polka dots. They're more fun.
uh, blue jeans or black jeans.
No jeans. Oh, very uncomfortable. Like, give me shorts any day or give me like pajamas. No jeans.
Yeah, yeah. What's your favorite reality TV show?
Favorite reality TV show? Hmm. यार वो reality show रह नहीं गए अब तो but I enjoy doing खतरों. So yeah, I think खतरों के खिलाड़ी.
Okay, last one. What's your favorite emoji?
And there's a big debate on this whether it's a high five or whether it's folded hands, but I would like to believe it's folded hands.
Yeah, same. Yeah. Okay, thank you. I hope you like the rapid
Yes,
fire.
yes, always.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Aishwarya, for joining us. And before we close, is there anything else you want to share with our community and the people who are watching us?
All that I can say is that keep yourself updated with whatever is happening with your body and whatever is happening with diabetics around you because it just really helps in order to understand this disorder better. And you don't suffer from it, you just live with it. So that's the key.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I think it's very important for us to remind that it's part of your everyday life, and don't take it as a suffering. Learn to live with it, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Aishwarya, for doing this. And you will be seeing Aishwarya more on our further sessions. We will get her on board on different discussions as well. So do stay tuned for that. And follow us on all different social media handles. We are there on YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook. Join us, our closed group of only people with living with diabetes and their caregivers. It's called the Diabetes Support Network India. It's there on Facebook. Do join the group as well. You'll have a lot of support and the community feeling. It's like we are always like on it and on the go. So do join us, show us some love, and do support the Blue Circle Diabetes Foundation calendars as well. And you can buy them. Nupur has already put in the link in the chats, and we will see you next Sunday with yet another workshop. So thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye bye.